In a small town in the United States lived an Army veteran named Jack. Jack had fought in the war for years and was now living a peaceful life with his family in their small house in the suburbs. He was always respected by everyone in the city. The whole city knew about his achievements and sacrifices for the country. However, one day, Jack decided it was time to go back to work and got a job as a security guard at a big city company. He wanted to keep busy and help keep the city safe. Jack was seen as a hero by his coworkers, but not by his head of security, Steve. Steve was an arrogant man who disliked veterans and belittled Jack's importance at work. He treated him with disdain and humiliated him whenever he could. Jack tried to ignore Steve's behavior, but it was difficult to maintain his patience when the boss acted so rudely. Things got worse when Steve started putting Jack in humiliating and unnecessary jobs. He did this just to ridicule the veteran, ignoring the vast experience he had in maintaining security. Jack put up with it all, but his coworkers were outraged by the way Steve was treating him. One afternoon, while working at the main gate, Jack noticed suspicious behavior from a visitor trying to enter the company. He asked to see his ID, and when the man was unable to produce it, Jack followed security protocols and barred him from entering. The visitor was furious and started threatening Jack, but he remained calm and firm. However, head of security Steve appeared on the scene and, without hearing Jack's version, proceeded to berate him in front of everyone. Jack was extremely humiliated and decided enough was enough. Shortly after the incident, he resigned from the company and never returned. That night, Steve received an anonymous call alerting him to a possible terrorist attack being planned against the company. Steve, not knowing what to do, decided to ignore the call and not take any action, thinking it was a prank call. The next day, a group of terrorists actually invaded the company, creating chaos and destruction. Several employees were taken hostage and the police were called in to intervene. The situation was chaotic, but nobody counted on the appearance of the former employee, Jack the war veteran. Jack, who had been alerted to the situation by a friend, decided he couldn't let his former company suffer. He put his training into action and led an old friend's third-party security group to fight the terrorists while the police had yet to arrive on the scene. The result of Jack's action was that they were able to capture the invaders and surely save many lives that would have been taken. Steve, who had been hiding throughout the attack awaiting the arrival of the police, was very surprised to see Jack leading the charge. He felt ashamed for having underestimated Jack's ability and felt guilty for having been so cruel to him months ago. After the attack, the entire city came together to honor Jack and the other heroes who fought valiantly against the terrorists. Steve, who was now convinced of the mistake he had made, also joined in the praise and thanked Jack for the courage and leadership he had shown that night. Steve realized that he had been reckless in his actions and that Jack's experience could be invaluable to the company. So he reached out to him personally and apologized for his past behavior. Steve also asked Jack to return to work for the company, promising that he would never treat him with disrespect again. Jack accepted Steve's apology and agreed to return to work, but on one condition. He wanted Steve to work closely with him on the security team to learn the importance of respecting all team members, regardless of background or experience. Steve accepted the challenge and began working closely with Jack and the security team. He learned a lot about leadership, respect, and how to work in a team. Steve was determined to become a better leader and build a strong team that could handle any situation. Years passed and the company flourished under Jack and Steve's leadership. They became close friends and worked together to create a culture of respect and collaboration within the company. Steve always remembered his experience with Jack and how he had been such a skillful leader on that fateful night. Over time, Jack, who had become the general head of security, decided it was time to retire and pass the baton to the next generation of company leaders. He chose Steve as his successor, knowing that Steve had learned a lot from his experience and would be a fair and respectful leader for everyone in the company. Steve accepted the position of head of security with gratitude and a determination to continue Jack's legacy. He knew the company still faced many challenges ahead, but he was confident in his team and their ability to lead them with respect and collaboration. In the end, Jack and Steve's story became a powerful example for everyone who worked at the company and for the entire city. They showed that even when things look bleak, courage and leadership can emerge from unlikely places. They taught that respect, collaboration and empathy are the keys to building a strong and resilient team. Jack passed away during the pandemic in 2021. Steve continues to lead the company. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like for more life stories. If you want to send us your story to be shared on the channel, write it in a Word file and send it to the email in the video description. Until the next story.